everybody. How you doing?
Oh, cheers.
Hope you had a
Cheers.
fantastic Labor Day weekend. We are doing points. So Joseph, I'm waiting on Joseph to show up. So I am ready to be in his stead, just in case. Yeah, it looks good. So, how was everybody's weekend?
We had a good weekend. We got to so the kids had a virtual day on Friday. Just basically means they had to do like 15 minutes worth of school at home and then they have the day off. And then of course we had Monday off for Labor Day in the States. So we got to go back to Missouri for 4 days and just hang out with Matt's folks and see my new baby nephew that was just born for the first time.
Hey.
Got to see some old friends we hadn't seen in years and just kind of have a nice slow paced weekend with only one trip to the emergency room. So when you have 5 kids, I feel like that's a pretty good stats for a weekend. So we had a really good time, really nice.
Would you like to tell the story of the emergency room?
It's corn, a big stalk with razors. Okay, so my sons were sword fighting in a cornfield. Like, no explanation needed there, right? And apparently when corn is cut and it gets all dry, those leaves that come out, they get like sharp like knives. And he went to kind of grab one and pulled his hand along it and it cut it and it needed 2 stitches and a trip to the ER. So, and a tetanus shot because, corn. So he's tough. He was fine. It was just kind of like, okay, let's go.
It's a boy initiation. You got to get bloodied on something.
Yeah, he's also my only kid who's had a broken bone, so I think he kind of might be my rough and tough injury guy.
Right. Yeah. You're danger prone Daphne.
Yeah. That's him. Jack Attack.
Chels, how about you?
Nothing as exciting. There's a big book warehouse in the UK called 66 Book Club, which I went to on Sunday, which is very apt for a bookish person. And I queued outside of this warehouse from 9 o'clock in the morning for about 3.5 hours to get in, which is dedication.
That is dedication.
Because Book Talk and social media have just exploded it, which is great for them because they're getting the business. But it is not great if you want to go and visit, because I remember finding them years and years ago, back before COVID, and I rocked up and I walked in and I had a look around and I walked back out. It was nowhere near as chaotic, but it was still a good time.
How many books did you buy? Did you find what you were looking for? Any gems? Any treasures?
I bought technically 16 books, 2 of which are presents for one of my sisters.
Nice.
So 14 for me, and I think the best thing, I didn't even find it, Jack, my other half, found it, is this like fold out pop-up advent calendar featuring Nightmare Before Christmas. So like you fold it out and it
love
has, like,
that
a tree, and it's an advent calendar, so you open obviously every single day up to Christmas, and it's got little paper decorations that you hang on the tree. So that's what we're going to be doing.
I love that.
It's going to be fun.
Absolutely love that. I want one. Send it over.
Me too. I have really good Jack Skellington welcome mats. I have 2 front doors at this house. So I'm like, perfect, more wreaths, more welcome mats.
Nice.
But I keep them out from October 1st all the way through Christmas, because Nightmare Before Christmas is Halloween and Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%. I will say I'm jealous of a lot of the stuff I'm seeing on social media that you guys have over in the States for all like your Halloween stuff, because
we go crazy.
Yeah, I mean we're getting there in England a little bit, nowhere near, but it's now a thing. Like you can now buy Halloween decorations that aren't just for kids, which is quite nice.
Nice. Yeah, we officially jumped the shark when we brought up the 12-foot skeleton for what it was like $200 or something. So everybody in the universe bought a 12-foot skeleton and put it in their front yard.
I wish I had one. My husband is so Scroogey, Ebenezer Scroogey about lawn decorations. And I know it's kind of tacky, but I'm just like, more, more. And he's like, none, none.
None.
So
Okay, I have a question. Is it financially based or is it aesthetically based?
aesthetically based.
Okay.
We're
So he's
rich,
not like,
Andy.
we're not
Rich.
spending the
Just
money.
kidding.
He's like, I'm not putting that shit in my yard.
I mean, so sometimes he'll use that. He was like, I'm not buying that kind of crap, But really, it's because he just doesn't want that kind of stuff in his yard. But he's going to find out. Like someday he's just going to come home from work and there it'll be. So,
Well, and
surprise, surprise.
you can cushion the situation
Little
by
bit by year. Yep.
yeah. Well, just put it up on the 25th, right? It doesn't have to be out there for a month. Just put it up the week before Halloween. You get a 7-day period. And you take it right down. And the
Yeah,
next
that's a
day
lot of
it's
work though. I
Tinder.
like to enjoy my stuff for more than just a couple days. But I mean, I already got him to c- not consent to, but just like he just gave in finally to the multiple Christmas tree house. Like I have multiple Christmas trees. I have 3 so far. I'd like to have more. So I think before it's all over, yeah, I'll have a 12-foot skeleton of my own. I believe in this.
If
I'm a
anyone can do
problem
it,
solver.
it's you.
Yeah, these are just problems that need solutions. The no is not a no. It's just a get creative.
That's right.
Exactly.
The woman is the neck. She points the head where to go.
That's right. That is right.
I like Tease was just like, I want to have a sword fight in a cornfield. I absolutely want to have a sword fight in a cornfield.
I mean, they were living their best life having a sword
Right.
fight in a cornfield. So
the absolute best thing. We got the yeah. Oh well, Zin is ready to go immediately. Derek's all set, ready to go. You saw Monique's. Thank you very much. I'm sorry JR's not here. I'm doing the best I can in terms of getting his points together, but I think we've got it okay. 14 to 16 seems like a good percentage, right? More stuff to take it down.
It's the storage as well.
Well, we have a 2-car garage and a shed in our backyard, like a full,
so you got plenty of room.
store and an attic. So storage isn't the issue, but for some people it really is. Like, where are you going to put all that stuff? I get that.
Well, exactly. I mean, like my whole estate over here, no one really has front yards. It's car parking. That's what it is. It's drives. So there's nowhere to like tether these things.
You got to put spooky stuff in your windows so it looks.
100%. Yes, I do.
People are trying to get out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just always go back to Nightmare Before Christmas and how like that is the perfect kind of Halloween going into Christmas.
It's the perfect segue for the holidays.
Right. And when it originally came out, it was not popular.
Mm-mm.
It was not this big hit. It was just like, there's an animated cartoon. Okay, whatever.
It took Hot Topic and Spencer Gifts like selling all their clothing to like emo kids back in like 1999, and then finally, now that all of those people, I'm telling you, I think this is it. I think now that people my age who were like these emo goth kids, now that we're grown-ups, we're using our adult money to buy more Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. We just don't shop at Hot Topic anymore. We shop everywhere, so it's everywhere.
I love we're emo goth, but also cartoons.
Well, but it's but Tim Burton was our guy, yeah.
The accessible goth.
Yeah, low key.
We're going to talk about books here in a second, but I do want to hand it to the ringers really quickly. There were a lot of ringers who read a lot of books, and what's even better is that there are a lot of ringers that spent a lot of time with their team after they were done with their original 5 and 6 books. And I just want to say thank you to the ringers for doing that. I know you were done with all of your books on week 1. And, so I just want to do a quick shout out. Pris got 5 books done. However, she busted a reading slump while she was at it. So I think that's the best possible outcome. Andrea B. Knight did 8 books, 4,000, almost 5,000 pages. Erin did 9 books for 3,200, almost 3,300 pages. Melissa did 31 books.
Unreal.
11.5.
Incredible.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, and just in case you thought that was a lot, here comes Twainy. I don't know how she does it. I'm
No
just
idea.
assuming she just at work just has them in her ears all day long.
Mhm.
50 books for 16,000 pages.
Wow.
Wow.
I
She
don't.
was such a
Wow.
big cheerleader as well in the team because she
She
was
has
on my
been
team.
a
She
fantastic.
was so good and
That's
constantly
so
cheering
cool.
everyone else on.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and she was totally committed to sticking with the team and hey, go guys, and be there for everybody. So A+ work for 20. We have no idea how you do it. We think you may need a visit to the hospital for a break after you're done, but woo. So yeah, the woohoo, and there we go. Here's Dwayne audiobooks.
Wow, a job I can listen.
Mm-hmm. Well, she talked about it. She was just like, I want to just walk into work and plug in, and off we go.
Fair enough. I have too many people trying to talk to me at work, unfortunately.
That's what we need.
Get
Is
a new
fewer people
job.
trying to talk to us or get us to do things at work.
I know, it just gets in the way. It really does.
It really does. If they can just read while I'm here, everything can be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And Brian, of course, I think is going to get the record for longest book.
Brian, don't act like I made you read Wandering In.
Right.
No, so I have a side chat that I've had, a little group chat with some reading friends that I've had for years. And in that group chat, a couple of my team members are in there. Theo, Rekindled Reader, and Joey, who we all know on Discord as Medic. Those are two of my best reading buddies. And both of them completely out of, we were on Instagram either, not even in Discord, but I kind of caught the two of them chatting about how they had both been, Medic's been moving. He's moving from Hawaii. He's retiring from the military. Yeah, awesome. He's moving from Hawaii back to the, to the States. I mean, still the States, but you know what I mean. He's going to be a landlubber again. And, Theo's had a crazy year with his parents haven't been healthy, and he's switched jobs and it's been stressful. And they both of them have been in their own version of a reading slump, and they were just talking about how this TBR quest just really ignited their fire again, and they're having so much more fun reading. It really got them plugged back into talking about books, and both of them were just like, man, this has been so good for me. I'm so glad I decided to jump in on this. And I'm just like, God, yes, this is why we do this, because it's same for me. I've been reading, but it doesn't have the same. It's not the same when you don't have friends to talk about. This is what I'm reading. This is what I hope I can read next. This is what I thought of this. I read a couple of bad books this month. I DNF'd a book. I read Akatar. I read a couple that were kind of, mid for me.
Yeah.
But I had a awesome reading month because I had people to chat with all month. So I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah. I agree, if I'm honest, because I feel like recently, I've been reading, but I haven't been reading a lot or reading things that I'm overly enjoying, or I'm just not getting into stuff as much. But I am a competitive person, and just watching everyone in my team being like, oh, I've read this many books, I was like, right, well, I can't let these guys down. I need to, as I kept saying, pull up my socks and get on with it. And I managed to read almost the most books that I've read so far this year, but well over the amount of pages. So to me, that's better because I'm reading bigger books. I'm not just reading little stuff, which is great. And I'm managing to get right into series and stuff, which is the main thing of this readathon as well.
Yeah, I love the idea of I love it when you hit a point in a book, you're reading it right now, you throw something up on the Discord about, well, this is my experience, and 10 minutes later somebody goes, oh yeah, blah, 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 and joins in on what you're talking about. It's it's all of a sudden this shared experience, which reading never is. For me, in my experience,
it's a solitary endeavor.
It is a solitary thing.
And it's just it doesn't matter if somebody else is reading it right now.
Yeah.
The memories of what they were experiencing when they got to that point in the book, I just thought were awesome.
Yeah.
And little things like a great example for me is Dungeon Crawler Carl. There is no chance that I would have read that book without having people go, "Oh, you need to." Oh, I like Dungeon Crawler Carl. Nobody told me to read it, but I just saw that title going up and going up and going up and going up. Like, okay, what is this stupid thing? Let me give it a shot. And I opened it up, and it was stupid, and it was wonderful.
That's the main thing.
I had a blast reading it, and it was again just something I never would have picked up on my own.
Yeah.
You know, Andy, I have another group of friends because I've read up through book 5. I'm about to start book 6 sometime in September, and I've got another group of friends reading it, and every single one of them was only reading it to prove to me that it was going to be stupid and they would hate it and they just don't like that. And I was like, fair
Go
enough.
ahead.
And they're like, but we'll try it.
Give me a
Not
shot.
only do they all keep going, one of them has read nothing but Dungeon Crawler Carl since he started just to prove me wrong. And now all of them are so into it. And they're all like, so this one guy went way ahead. Like he's ahead of me now. But the rest of them are on book 3. And they're just like, why does this keep getting better? Like the writing gets better. It gets the plot gets much more like sophisticated and advanced and complex. And I'm like, you just wouldn't have expected it. But this guy can actually write. And it is stupid. And it is funny. But all of a sudden you're like, why am I so emotionally vested? Why does he do side characters so well? Like, how is the themes, they're so complex. So yeah, it's just a shocker. And you don't read stuff like this unless you have other people either telling you to read it, but that's one thing. But it's another thing, like Andy said, to kind of sit on the side and just hear people chat and chat and chat and go, okay, now I have to see what the big deal is about. So I'm glad you tried it and I'm glad you liked it. And if you enjoyed it, consider continuing because it'll shock you. It's good stuff.
Oh well, no. I don't know that I'm going to be shocked because there is a degree of pathos in the first book that makes the first book work. It stops it from just being comedy, and it's just like this is horrible. Like the very first big combat they go into, it's just like, oh no, this is horrible. Like you're feeling terrible for the villain. It's like, okay, what is this? So I'm not surprised that he can write
good
well.
Stuff.
Yeah, he's really started to make it work pretty quickly off the bat. And that's the other thing too, is that I'm getting to the point, like I'm not like you guys. I haven't been reading fantasy for 4 years and doing 20 books a year, but I'm finally getting to the point where somebody gets to a certain point in live ship and I'm like, oh yeah, or somebody's in The Martian and like, oh yeah, I remember when that would happen. And so you start to bounce those moments and those experiences in the books around. I just think that's a great way to spend time.
And that was like at the book warehouse that I went to on Sunday. Like I saw the start of the newest Matthew Ward series, which is The Darkness Before Them, which is what I've read and reviewed, and I've interviewed him. He's a lovely guy. And I literally turned around to this group of people that I was with, 2 of which actually know me and know that I do stuff like this, and 2 of them had no idea. And I was like, have you read this book? And they were all like, no. I was like, and here's why you should. And I got 2 of them to buy it.
Yes.
I was like,
or you.
Yeah, I got 2 of them to buy it and one of them to add it to their obviously never-ending list of books that they will check out at some point. And I was like, you know what? That's a win. That's why I do this. To spend other people's money.
I love going up to strangers in bookstores and telling them my opinion, because you'll hear them like I saw this was a couple years ago, but these 2 guys way younger than me, and they're in the bookstore. They picked up Game of Thrones. He's like, I don't know, man. I read this. It was so good, but I haven't been able to find anything else to really scratch. And I was like, excuse me. So it's just kind of like
I don't work
doing
here,
stuff
but
like this makes you feel more confident about approaching people because you're like, you know what, I do know what I'm talking about. So because you're so used to talking about your book thoughts and your other, with your online friends, it opens up doors, in Barnes and Noble too.
100%. I've been in bookshops as well where people are like looking at books and going, oh, I don't know, and I've gone up to people and gone, that's not the first book. You
don't want to start there.
That's not the right one.
Yeah,
because I have done that. I have years ago when I was young and naive, I did end up buying the last book in a series and did not realize until I started reading it, and I was like, who the heck are all these people? And why
it
do we
happens more
apparently know
often than you would think.
Because it wasn't clearly marked that it was like the last book or even in a series. It was just here is the book.
Don't you feel like they should all have the numbers on the spine?
They really
Yes.
should. Or at least like, you know, on the front sometimes, you know, and they're like, oh, it's this series, book 2.
Mm-hmm. That'd
So
be the best
speaking
way
of
to go.
sequels, I went through my data, and the other than our teen book, which was the most read, I mean, it was the most that had the most overlap. The second most common book read on my team, and 4 people read and reviewed it, was The Crimes of Rooker Flynn. Yeah, and
It's
also I don't know how you guys did your Google Forms, but on mine they had the opportunity to say if you loved it, if you just liked it, if it was if it was a miss. Like I had some options they could pick from because I was just kind of nosy and curious, and everyone said they loved it. And then I had 2 people read The Legend of Blackjack for the first time. So go
There you
Andy,
go.
And
go
we had
Andy.
we had a couple people read JC what was it, the More Than a Human, More Than a Vampire. We had like 3 or 4 different people read that, so that was great.
Sweet.
And we got a bunch of people who read a lot of indie books, which is, I think, just fantastic. Actually, looking on this sheet here, we had a ton. And, you know, I feel lucky that my problem with fantasy before I met this community was the fact that I didn't know what to read, and the only thing that I would read was the classics and stuff that was obvious. And I don't think I ever would have gotten to Hob. I don't think I absolutely never would have made it to Dungeon Crawler Carl. I don't think I probably would have tried the Dragonbone Chair again and said, this isn't for me. Why am I bothering to read this stuff? So getting those recommendations of, I like this, I like this. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it because it really helps thin the herd.
It's nice as well because usually like you hear about the same books over and over again. Malazan, Robin Hobb, Wheel of Time, Game of Thrones, obviously all these really big names. And then it's just really nice as well to meet more people who are like, there's nothing wrong with these books. Obviously they're loved for a reason, but being able to talk to people and find out more like unknown books and stuff that hasn't necessarily hit the algorithm or found its wave yet is really cool.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. And, you know, I love the social community aspect of it, and just having people kind of talk to each other and go in over the top. Is my favorite thing because it's a ton of fun to watch. All right, we are at the 6:30 mark, so that means that we are going to go ahead with the scoreboard. Oh, wait! Before we do, for you guys,
a quick message from our sponsor.
What was your favorite book that you read during TBR Quest before we get to the final?
Chelsea, go first.
It was my only 5-star. Legacy of Steel by Matthew Ward, which is usually weird because this is a trilogy, so this is book 2 in the trilogy. And book 1 I gave 4-star, and I was like, this is good, but I don't know. Book 2, it all like kicked off. There was there's loads of action and political intrigue and stuff on the first one anyways, but this one was just so much more, in my opinion, and we get gods involved in the second book, so like there's just so many more like intricacies. So this got 5 stars. My favorite book, which is kind of funny because last month my best book of the month was Legacy of Ash, which is the first book in this series.
I think you might like the series.
It's gonna be probably one of my top series of this year. I'm reading the 3rd book now. And I'm reading it with my friend Lisa. We do like a buddy read. So we've done a live stream for the first 2 books where we dive into all the spoilers and stuff, which also is really helpful because then you kind of go back and you go, oh, I remember this bit, and oh, do you remember this bit? And that's pretty cool about this community as well, just being able to like do spoilers and have people like have spoiler talks with you as well.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I have the first book, and that's been on my radar for a while. So now that I know that it's going to be like one of your top series of the year, like I'll definitely prioritize that for sure.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Ooh.
There's still
Okay.
time for other things to like knock it out, but you know.
Sure, of course, yeah. I
Hey,
would
look at
say
that, Kels.
Yeah, I
Yay!
know.
Love to hear that.
Yes. Yes.
Love that.
Sorry, man.
So I read some awesome books. I loved Remarkably Right Creatures. That was I think I used that one for an animal on the cover because it has an octopus on the cover, and that one
Nice.
just really surprised me. For those of you who have read any Frederick Backman, it has the same structure and like storytelling style of a Frederick Backman book, but it wasn't nearly as heavy or emotional, like topic wise. It was wholesome and lighthearted, and I loved it. But I still think my favorite would probably be I started reading The Aspect and Emperor by R. Scott Baker, and that's the follow-up series to. He kind of does it like Pierce Brown, where there's two series, but really it's just a continuation. And why not just call it a 7-book series? I don't know. But anyway, the first I read two. I read the first two out of the four, and I think the first one was called The Judging Eye. I think that's gonna end up being my book of the month because I just absolutely loved it. But I mean, really, I read several 5-star books this month, which is awesome. I read
Okay.
Brothers of the Wind by Tad Williams, which is a novella from the Last King of Austenard. That was awesome. Oh, I read Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, I had so much opportunity, and trying to fit the prompts really did help me kind of mix it up a little bit more than I probably would have, because
Yeah.
I wanted to have good variety, and I didn't want to stretch it too much. And so yeah, having those prompts really helped me kind of keep it interesting this month.
Yeah.
The joys of the prompts. I loved how that kind of worked out. It always works out great, and you guys did a great job of selecting prompts that fit for everybody. Great job on that. But yeah, it kind of made you go. I read way more sci-fi this month than I ever do. So I was thrilled with it. Okay, so sorry for the double start. Let's go ahead and do the scores. Oh, but wait, this is my new. I love Kings of the Wild.
Me
There's
too.
no getting around it. I like Name of the Wind is still my favorite of the modern stuff, but Kings of the Wild hit all the right notes for me in a way that very few other books.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't ever want to call something a perfect book because I mean, it's kind of a perfect book though, like for what I'm looking for. And again, yeah, there's this and then there's this. Like it's apples and oranges, but for what it is, it delivers it perfectly.
Yeah, and the author knows exactly what he wants out of it, and that's exactly what he delivers.
Yeah, he's not trying to make it more. He's not trying to pass it off as putting it up for a Pulitzer Prize. No. But for what it is, it's executed so well.
We're gonna have a great time with a big giant heart at the center of it. Yes. Okay, let's do it. Okay, for the third time.
Unless somebody else comments something very interesting that we have to talk about right away.
Wait. Oh, wait, Twitty's talking about Name of the Wind. I need to talk about it. Shut up with him. All right, the Monstars. We're going to go ahead and go first. Okay. The Monstars are amazing. They had Joan. They had Kat. They had Mad Maxone, Matthew Fleck, Monique the Book Geek, Shauna, Shaken, Stacy, everybody across the board. Vic finished 5. A total for the Monstars of 99 books.
Wow. Excuse me.
There were some subtractions for some repeats on the prompts, and there were subtractions, I think, 4 for reviews not turned in. Okay, so the Monstars final score is 188 points, which is a 50-point jump over where they were last week. So congratulations to the Monstars. That's amazing. 99 books. I mean, that's absolutely stellar. All right, so since Madison has been in the lead the entire time,
Yeah.
Chelsea, we're going to go and we're going to see what the Crusaders did. Thumbs up. Good luck.
So we had a really good month. We are officially caught up on all reviews. So we have no
Love
reviews
that.
missing, which is so good. Yeah, I was told by one of our lovely members that they had posted all of their reviews after they'd submitted. So I had to go in and do some changing. But all of the reviews are up. So that is good. We had some very fantastic people on our team. I've already shouted out Twainy because they've just been so supportive for everyone. We also had Pris. Data Fox was so lovely today, just saying well done for what everyone has already achieved, no matter where we are. That being said, we had a total of 128 inputs, responses for our team. And obviously we had some Crusaders, not Crusaders, we are the Crusaders. We had some bringers in there, I should say. So our total points for this month is 234 points. So well done, Crusaders, because you smashed it.
Whoa.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. 234. How many books total?
128. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Crusaders, 128 books.
And I'm very proud of everyone for actually putting in their reviews as well.
Do you know how many people you have on your team? Was it around 22, 23 people?
I want to say yes.
Somewhere around in there. That's staggering. 230. Like you had almost everybody on your team turn it in. I mean, big time.
About 29 people submitted.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Give or take a couple, because I think some names, although everyone has posted up, I've only counted up to 6 people. Some people have slightly changed names in the form.
Right. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, that's amazing. Madison.
Thank you, Ray.
Oh, queen of the TBR. Oh, queen of the readathon. What do you got for the crystal ball?
First of all, I just want to take a second and shout out everyone on my team who read 5 books. We have Andrea, Brian, Bryce, Chris, Debbie, Heather, Jennifer, Joe, Joey, Karen, Melissa, Misa, Nikki, Sarah, T, Steve, Terry, Theo, Travis, and of course Zen. Now we did have a couple ringers in there, so we definitely had to make some subtractions because we had people killing it. Debbie read 9, Misa read 22, but we didn't have to subtract anything for no reviews because they killed it. We have a review on every single submission, so I'm super proud of that. But including our ringers and everything, my team read a total of 154 books.
Wow.
Yeah. So you take out all the subtractions, and then you double that because we have all of our reviews, and we have 266 points.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, we did it! Woo!
Congratulations to the Crystal Ballers, the champions.
Yes, so proud of my team.
Fest. Woo!
Yes.
You have bragging rights from here until the end of time for being the most awesome.
Don't worry, I'll brag plenty.
And just to make sure for Melissa, that's not including Twainy's 50 or a bunch of the ringers.
No, we have taken them out.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Crystal Ballers. It's like, what are you going to do now? Are you taking them all to Disney World?
Yes, we're going to Disney World. We'll just.
I didn't know you could
wait for the. We'll wait for our prize money to come in, and then we'll go.
Yeah. As soon as the prize money comes in, we will take care of it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, I mean, between everybody, we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 500 books, more than 500 books read this month.
Wow.
That's so
that's the prize. That's crazy.
Yeah, people are back in reading.
And 500 reviews. Think of all of the authors who literally check Goodreads every day. Just be
That's
like,
right.
Do we have anyone else? I mean, because that means so much. I mean, it means something to a lot of like all authors. But I'm sorry if you have 400,000 reviews on your book.
Yeah, you're not really
Whatever.
gonna notice.
But for people who are trying to get to 100 reviews on Goodread, like a surge like this is everything. So it just makes me so happy. Yay, guys.
Fantastic. Well, and you guys did a great job too of making sure that everybody turned in their review. I think both of you were perfect or damn near on reviews.
Yeah, in the beginning we were missing a couple here and there, but we plugged them all in.
Yeah.
And getting everybody to the point where it's like, you know, just even slapping a star on it matters. And so where you start getting to the point where that becomes habit at the end of the book, I think is absolutely fantastic. And so, yeah, there we go. There's Zen. I've been waiting for Zen. There we go. One more and you're in Olympics, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him a gold medal or something.
The real question is, so is your TBR much lighter now than it was?
No. No, all I did was pick up more books to add to the damn thing.
Yep.
But no regrets, no regrets.
No, not at all. Well, and the other thing I like is that a couple of books that are on the TBR, which is, you know, a couple of them bubble up because of stuff like this, where it's like, oh, well, that one got mentioned 3 or 4 times. Okay, let's take a look at that. Let's bring it up the list.
And then some things I wasn't planning. I mean, they were still on my TBR, but they were like, yeah, I only read the octopus book because Theo, after we read Akatar together, he was like, let's try something else. And we both gave it 5 stars. So,
that's very good.
And I'm like, I owned the book. It was on my TBR, but it was just like bottom shelf, like, yeah, at some point. But then he was just like, this is weird, but what if we both read that? And I was like, why not? And now I wouldn't be surprised if I mentioned it when I do like a favorite books of the year wrap up. So I love being influenced. I love peer pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I need to say that the two of you are awesome and amazing. So is J.R. Carell. The fact that you guys were willing to take your time and do this and support your team and all of the emotional investment that goes along with that is amazing. Thank you so much for being willing to pick up 25 people and carry them on your back and say, let's go, and keep up the enthusiasm all month. I just think it's absolutely stellar that you're capable of doing that. So I just need to say with my whole heart, thank you both so much for doing this for everybody in the server. And I just appreciate you so much. So.
Well, thanks for inviting me, because I'm telling you, it was balm to my soul. It was just so good to feel like this is fun again, like reading and hanging out and everything. Like it was just really good to just get back in it, and I had a blast. So
yeah, absolutely fantastic. So thank you to everybody who was involved. We'll see what we're doing in the future, but in the meantime, keep reading those books, and most importantly, keep up those relationships that you fostered during the readathon. Those people are still there for you tomorrow.
I'm not going anywhere in Keymark, so you guys better still hang out with me.
Well, thank you all very much. We'll see you in a bit. Have a good one.